We're going to start talking about how to analyze motion. And here at the beginning, we're really just talking about straight line motion. So maybe you take an object and you throw it straight up in the air and it falls straight back down. Or you just take an object and drop it and let it fall straight down. Or maybe an object is driving in one direction. It's just something in a straight line. So to start out with, let's think about a car. If you're driving a car and let's say you drive 120 miles and it takes you 2 hours, then how fast were you driving during that time? Well, you've got experience with this, so you can quickly say you're going 60 miles per hour. And without even thinking about it, what you did was you took the 120 miles divided by 2 hours, and that gave you 60 miles per hour. Now, a police officer doesn't care what your average speed was like that. If you go 120 miles in 2 hours, 60 miles per hour is your average speed. But what we usually care about more is what's your speed at a specific moment in time. We'll call this instantaneous speed. So if we want to get our hands on that, it's a little more challenging. Average speed is pretty easy. Take the distance divided by the time. But instantaneous speed, we need to do a little more. We're also interested in this instantaneous speed when we send objects out into space. We don't really care about their average speed as they move through space. We want to know how fast are they moving at every moment in time. Because, for example, we want to make sure that the hardware can handle how fast this thing is going to go, maybe as it makes a turn around a planet or something like that. So we want to know what the speed is at specific moments in time. Your car tells you how fast you're going at specific moments in time, roughly. So let's think about how your car does that. So you're driving down the road and your car says you're going 70 miles per hour. And it's changing a little bit as you're driving. It moves up a little bit, moves down a little bit. So how is your car doing that? If you're going to say how fast something is moving at a specific moment in time, how do you say that? Because the only way we really have to say how fast you're going is to take how long you've traveled, how far, and then divide that by the amount of time that it took. But if it's a specific moment in time, no time goes by. So how are you going to divide by the amount of time? You have to do something different. So what your car does is it keeps track of how fast you're going over really tiny intervals of time. So it can tell how fast your axles are spinning, how fast your wheels are spinning. So it can use that to say how far you're traveling. And then it can maybe, let's say, let a tenth of a second go by and measure how far you traveled in a tenth of a second. And if it does that and it keeps track of how fast your average speed is over really tiny periods of time, then that's basically like giving you your instantaneous speed. You can't get your instantaneous speed exactly just by doing that, but it gives you really good approximations.